Hi everybody, good evening. I've been asked a few times to do an update on what I would do in a COVID-19 situation if it was my business that I was operating. I'm going to do this video like this just to help small businesses in the hope that they can get something out of it, and for the larger businesses that there is something in there for you too. It's not an exhaustive list because there are lots of variables and things like this, but I've put together what I think should be there, or at least I would consider. So I'll reel them off. I hope you don't fall asleep, and as I said, some of them are interesting for you. So the first thing I would do if I was a business owner, I would say, how come I can only use 30% of my space and I'm paying 100% rent? There's a problem there with the math. I'm never going to be profitable unless I'm very lucky. I would go and speak to my landlord and see if there can be some give in that rent. I think that would be my first port of call, at least I would ask anyway. I would look to make sure that I kept as many staff on furlough as possible and staggered in where I needed people. I would use my managers as much as possible in every area of the business. I think administration time isn't so important, it's productive time. You need to make every hour, every minute count. I think that would be something that I would look at. I think I would also want to understand the government regulations and recommendations and the legal requirements to open the restaurant, bar or hotel safely. I would look to see if I needed processes around temperature checks, recording of details, sickness, if someone catches a cold and member of staff, what happens if one of your guests has it and finds out when they get home. So I'd put all of these processes and make sure that I had a clear understanding about what was required. I think because of the COVID-19 impact, depending on the location of your business, I would want to make sure the customers are still there. If you've got a restaurant and it's surrounded by offices, there may not be any point opening, right? It would change what you're going to do. I think this would be something that I would want to know. I'd want to know where my customers are and who they are. And when they're looking to eat, I think this would be something that I would do. I'd also want to maybe pick up the phone, a few customers, regulars of mine, and I would try and understand what they're looking for. If they're going to come out and eat with you, maybe it's worth asking, what would you be looking for an experience? And then you can at least use that as your baseline. I think that would be something that I would do. I think I would also speak to my team. I'd want to know how my team feel about this. I'd want to know, what I need to do for them so that they feel safe. I think that's important. And I think I would keep listening to my team, and I think I would keep listening to my customers. And I would adjust whatever I was managing or doing in the business to find, some kind of happy medium. I think this would be something that I would do. I think I would walk the customer journey as it was and see what I need to do to make it as contactless as possible in the whole experience, and make changes. And this includes back of house areas, from goods inwards all the way through for staff, restaurant staff, food, for, the way I handle furniture, everything. I think I would be wanting to review that whole journey. And when I say customer, I mean for staff as well. Back of house kitchens, everything. I would definitely reduce the processes, look to take things out of the system that were perhaps there before, simplify it. I would question whether I needed the process, if I could remove the process or I could enhance the process, and try and see if we can be better at overall execution of the guest experience and necessary operational systems. I think and processes. I would look to do that. I think that this would be important. I think I would try and de-risk the business at every aspect to keep our guests safe and team safe. As I've already said, this would definitely be something that was in my mind. I'm certain. I think I would set up the restaurant and for the 30% max 2 meter distancing, and I would make sure it still had a vibe, good ambience, looked good, didn't look like it was like a plastic place with really bad lighting, music, and the whole overall ambience. I would really look at that and see I can make it still a great place to come. I think that's important. I would also review all my cleaning practices, disinfection practices, and I would make sure I have these very well covered, from door handles to toilets to chairs to tables to service changeovers to back of house. I would revisit the lot personally. I think I also would probably review my sequence of service. If I had a process and a service, I would look to see how I can streamline that and make it as low contact as possible. But in saying that too, I also have to tell you that I would really try and add some surprise, some delight and surprises, and what I call magic moments for guests, where you do something they don't expect and they want to tell everybody because you were so great at making them feel special, and in that moment in time you took them away from all this crazy COVID-19 stuff. So I think that's what I would do. I think I'd probably keep the menu small, definitely keep it local. I would make sure there was still enough choice in terms of vegetarian, vegan, allergy, proteins, etc. But nevertheless, I would change it frequently, but not keep it big. I would cost every dish. I would go through all the wastage processes, keep wastage to a minimum. Every cent, pence you can save is going to stop you making losses. So this would be something that I would focus on, and that includes labor. No one has free time. Every minute counts. You've got to pay for every minute. Make sure every minute counts. Would be something that I would do. I'd reset all the stockpile levels for the business. I would calculate how many covers I was going to get by meal period, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I would calculate the staff productivity that I would needed to make sure I have just the right amount of people. I would do a break-even analysis to make sure that I'm not going to be operating with losses. I would look at my menu costings and pricing structure and strategy and make sure that it's worthwhile opening. I mean, this would be something I would do. And as a business, if I was the business owner, I would do a run rate of my cash in the bank, and I would do a daily cash flow. And I would probably share this with the team. I think that's important. I think everyone needs to know, that what you need and to be successful and to keep your doors open. I mean, there's no point opening and being in losses. I mean, that's stupid. I would do forecasting, and I would completely be obsessed with making sure that it was fairly accurate, particularly around covers and cash flow. I would also make sure my menu was worth coming in for. I mean, what's the point in having a boring menu? If you're going to have a reduced menu, make sure every dish and drink on that menu is interesting. Make sure every drink and every meal you serve is the best it could possibly be. From presentation to quality of cooking to healthy options not being boring. Maybe I'd introduce food as a medicine. Maybe, I don't know, I'd think about it. But I would definitely make sure that the menu was the best. And I would, as I said already, review wastage through every aspect of the process and reduce it, get it out of the business, for sure. I would revisit all kitchen practices from goods inwards, movement of food through the building, OS&E, where it's stored, when it's clean, when it's dirty, where it's going, who's doing it. I would review all of this. Everything I would buy and do would be local, and I would be looking to collaborate with local people. I think it's about giving back to your community right now. You need them and they need you, and I would really work with them and collaborate. I would do that for sure. As I've said already, but I want to reiterate it, understand your break-even point. If it looks too high, don't open your doors. Find another way. Or if it looks too high, find a way of reducing it. Review all of your variable costs, but get that break-even point down as low as you possibly can. So at least you can open your doors and be confident you're going to cover your costs. There's really no point operating your business for 6 months and being more in debt than what you are now, if you are in debt now, which I would imagine several people and several businesses could well be. I think I would be questioning how I would do my pricing. I mean, I would make it fair and reasonable, and I wouldn't be afraid of charging for what it's worth. I think that's important. I think I would do that. I think too, training would be my number one thing. Training for my team, I think there's so much changes that I would just spend so much time making sure they understood, and every shift we'd review and go through how we could do it better. I would do celebration of success. When we achieve our targets, man, we celebrate and congratulate ourselves for achieving and keeping our business alive. We're fighting for it and we're going to make it survive. And and I'd really bring that closeness with the team and make it fun. I mean, God's sake, if you think about the world right now, it's all doomy and gloomy, and COVID-19, no socializing, no integration, loss of jobs. Let's make our business a place of fun. I mean, and celebrate success and not be too serious, but serious enough to keep people safe. This is what I would do anyway. I think I've put PPE in, make it available if some guests want it. As we know, in France, they're now saying you have to wear a mask, potentially even in the restaurant. It's only when you're at the table that you don't. So I think I would give guests PPE and have it available. Staff, I would make sure they have PPE. It seems like, after the article that was out 2 or 3 days ago saying that it's difficult to catch COVID-19 on surfaces, I would probably say that based on that, obviously the aerosolization of COVID-19 through sneeze, coughs and talking is the high risk factor. So I would look to negate that as much as possible. This would be my approach. And I would also have a process that was clear to inform guests if they find out that they become infected with COVID-19 to let us know. Definitely use my table management system and database and just really capture what people are saying and take care of them. I think this would be something that I think I would do without a doubt. I think you've got an opportunity to speak to your guests pre, post and during, and I would use it. I think this is one thing that I would definitely do. All managers leading from the front. You don't want any office managers. They need to get in the front, lead from the front, do everything, support the team and show that the camaraderie and the support. I love the Marines eat last, and this is important. Managers need to do and be there to support the team in these difficult times. It's not a time to be a backseat manager. I would have a marketing plan created. I would know how I was going to reach my guests, and I would make sure I would try new things that I haven't done before, and I would look for low cost, high impact marketing plans. I would also have my team together and we'd do the marketing plan together, and I would also get them to use their own social media accounts to promote the business and do a documentary about how we opened, what we're doing and all of this sort of thing. This is what I would do, and I'll try and get other people to tell my stories. This is something I would do too as part of my marketing plan. I would look to see if I needed single-use items to try and reduce some productivity time and things like this. Definitely QR codes for menus and trying to find ways of making the table as contactless as possible. So maybe moving from salt grinders to sachet and sugar, and not having it with a spoon in a bowl but having it wrapped, and you only give them what you don't use you can use to cook with. I think I would do creative thinking workshops, try and find ways to be different and better than my competitors. I just wouldn't open the doors and be the same. I would really make it special, I think. Weekly marketing meetings, involve everybody, keep them going, review your results, review the impact. I think change and adjust, find new ways to be better and improve. I think that's what I would do. And I think of everything, I think we would do what I said earlier on. I would make sure that it's worth coming to work, worth coming to my restaurant or bar or hotel. And we would have fun. We would really make sure it was worthwhile coming to work, worthwhile coming to eat, drink and sleep in my property. And I would build close but 2 meters apart relationship with everybody and make it super special. So these are the things I would consider and do if I was opening a restaurant or a bar or a hotel right now. I didn't talk about the rooms because I think rooms is just about disinfection, cleanliness and these type of things. In the restaurant you have far more time with the guest, and and far more time with the team, with each other, and I think that's important, and this is why the focus is here. I hope this video has been of help, and keep safe, keep well. Look, I hope you're enjoying the forum. I would really ask that if you are, you tell everybody. If you're not, email me, and maybe I can change things and improve, within the framework of LinkedIn. If I could also ask that you get involved in the conversations, you comment, you share content, you abide by the guidelines. No job hunting, no CVs, no trying to sell, no trying to promote, please. Otherwise we will have a forum that's just focused on selling and buying and job hunting, which I desperately want to avoid. And try and log in as often as possible, and be an active community member, and keep safe and well, be positive, and don't give up. And if you've lost your job, trying to find one. Eventually all will come good. And yep, I will catch you when I do the next video, and hopefully in the forum. Keep safe, keep well. Bye for now.